George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, the founding fathers of America, but also Freemasons. Historians confirm that at least 8 of the 56 Declaration signers and 13 of the 39 Constitution framers belonged to Masonic lodges. These men gathered for more than tavern talk. Masonry's ideals of liberty and brotherhood echoed the Revolution. In fact, gentlemen of the Revolutionary era joined a Masonic lodge for camaraderie with others who embraced Freemasonry's Enlightenment ideals, such as freedom of thought and equality of man. Conspiracists ask, were these lodges secret headquarters for the American Revolution? We know about Masonry and the all-seeing eye, George Washington's face on the $1 bill, mysterious symbols on the Great Seal, secret handshakes in candlelit rooms. But could our founders have been influenced by occult philosophies, alchemy, or mystical traditions imported from Europe? Could America's birth have been part of a wider esoteric revolution? These were not casual clubs. 18th century Freemasonry carried Enlightenment values, anti-monarchy, republicanism, meritocracy, ideals embraced by many revolutionaries. Benjamin Franklin even rose to head a French Masonic lodge. Think of it. Washington, Franklin, and Lafayette all embraced French connections. Franklin persuaded Congress to accept 33 officers from the French army, all Freemasons, but what were they really up to? Independence or New World Order? That's where history ends and speculation begins. Occult and esoteric influences. Outside Masonry, the 18th century still bubbled with mysticism. Hermeticism, the tradition of as above, so below, blending astrology, alchemy, and secret wisdom, had long captivated scholars. Its influence lingered in salons and lodges. For instance, alchemy survived into revolutionary America. Even in the 1780s, Yale president Ezra Stiles, a future governor and signatory, sought the philosopher's stone as if trying to transmute a raw republic into gold. Alchemy persisted, turning base materials, and maybe old ideas, into something new. One of the more mysterious outgrowths of that alchemical worldview emerged in the early 17th century, the Rosicrucian manifestos. These anonymous texts, published in Germany, spoke of a secret brotherhood of enlightened philosophers who claimed access to ancient esoteric truths, blending alchemy, Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and Christian mysticism. Earlier Rosicrucian manifestos promised a universal reformation of mankind via hidden knowledge. Some researchers claim the founders drank from this well. Later Rosicrucian orders even claimed Washington and Franklin as initiates, though they admit no irrefutable evidence. Prophecy of ages. Even the Great Seal's motto is steeped in symbolism. Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages, comes straight from Virgil's Eclogues. The great cycle of ages is born anew. The founders weren't merely launching a republic, they were invoking a transformation, an age-old agenda cloaked in liberty and parchment. And if the Latin phrase sounds too close to New World Order, that's because it is. Were they embedding the blueprint of a hidden order, one meant to guide the future long after the revolutionaries were gone? Officially, the eye is the eye of God, watching over the US. Conspiracy buffs see it as an Illuminati wink. History.com even asks if the grid design of the nation's capital contained occult symbols embraced by the Illuminati. Pierre L'Enfant's 1791 plan hides an occult blueprint in its very streets. From above, 5 avenues, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Georgia, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, trace a near-perfect pentagram centered on the White House. Diagonal boulevards form the Masonic Square and compasses around Freedom Plaza, framing the Capitol like a sacred altar. Towering above it all, the Washington Monument stands as a lone obelisk, an Egyptian symbol of divine power, its shadow on equinox mornings pointing straight to the Lincoln Memorial. Beneath the city, Masonic cornerstone ceremonies marked each federal building, sealing hidden geometry into stone. Was D.C. designed for democracy, or crafted as a giant ritual ground? We can also travel south to Virginia's rolling hills and ask ourselves, could Jefferson have encoded arcane knowledge in Monticello? Monticello wasn't simply Jefferson's eccentric villa, it was a living puzzle. Take the dome room, for instance. At first glance, it's just an observatory, but it never housed a telescope. Instead, it sits atop a mystery. Was Jefferson charting the stars for astronomy or mapping out hermetic alignments? In the library, rows of books conceal a false panel, perfect for hiding a Rosicrucian codex or the unpublished essays of his private Jefferson Bible. Wander down the hidden staircases tucked beneath floorboards, and you might find locked cabinets, laboratory drawers where Jefferson stored alchemical recipes, vegetable oil tinctures, even early electrical experiments. Outside, the garden's geometric beds aren't just horticulture, they mirror sacred geometry. Local lore whispers of a wine cellar turned secret archive filled with exotic seeds, minerals, and fossils, each specimen annotated in his own hand for their esoteric or medicinal power. Secret networks of the Enlightenment. Now let's map those secret gatherings. American revolutionaries really did mingle with Enlightenment intellectuals abroad. In Paris, Franklin became a celebrity Mason. John Hancock, Ethan Allen, and others founded American Masonic lodges during the war. Another prominent figure in the Brotherhood was Paul Revere, an American silversmith, military officer, and industrialist who played a major role during the opening months of the American Revolutionary War in Massachusetts, where he was the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts, deep in the heart of the colonial Masonic network. He claimed that serving as Grand Master was the greatest happiness of his life. No one knows exactly what motivated Revere to become a Freemason, but he reaped considerable benefits from his membership. Across Europe, the Bavarian Illuminati, founded 1776, and the still enigmatic Rosicrucians fueled wild conspiracy rumors. By the 1790s, American newspapers warned of secret agents manipulating politics. The year 1776 again illustrates caution. Both America's declaration and the Illuminati's founding share that number, a neat coincidence. Conspiracy theories tout it as fate, but scholars just raise an eyebrow. Thomas Paine, in his characteristic hyperbole, even traced Masonry's origins to ancient Druids and Egyptians. It was because of their shared use of symbolism, sun worship, and sacred geometry. In his essay, Origin of Freemasonry, he argued that Masonry wasn't Christian in origin, but rather a continuation of pre-Christian, nature-based spiritual traditions. He saw parallels in rituals, architectural forms, like obelisks in the form of Washington Monument. He noted that both the Druids and the ancient Egyptians built their sacred sites in alignment with celestial bodies, especially the sun and stars, and he saw this as a major clue linking them to Freemasonry. The Druids, for example, constructed stone circles like Stonehenge that marked solstices and equinoxes with stunning precision. Likewise, the Egyptians built their temples and pyramids with incredible cosmic awareness. Paine argued that Freemasonry retained this ancient obsession with the heavens. Masonic temples are often oriented to the east, facing the rising sun, and Masonic rituals include references to the Great Architect of the Universe, a symbolic figure often interpreted as the cosmic order itself. Tools like the compass and square aren't just for building, they represent the measurement of the heavens and the moral structure of the universe. So what was the Freemasons' end game? Their goal was to create a global republic ruled not by kings or popes, but by enlightened initiates, a hidden priesthood of knowledge and control. The American Republic was conceived not as a break from secret power, but as its greatest triumph. As one expose bluntly states, Freemasons are working covertly to manipulate world events and shape the course of history toward a global New World Order. 18th century Freemasons rejected God and became the political and ideological enemy of Europe's traditional order, guiding revolutionaries to destroy the church and overthrow the monarchy and impose a secular, materialist state on all humanity. The founders' secret goal was to abolish hereditary rulers and religious authority and replace them with an all-powerful secular regime under Masonic control. Kind of like something we have today, right?